Chairman, I rise in opposition to the amendment. What this stabilizing brace, which is depicted here, when attached here, it turns this weapon into an automatic weapon. It becomes a bump stock. And so it will allow that to essentially be fired like an automatic weapon. That's the danger. So I have to very strongly oppose the amendment. And I yield back.
Thank you, Chairman. I seek to strike the last word.
And ladies recognized.
Okay. I've had a lot of experience and, of course, working with gun safety experts and gun violence prevention organizations over the years, and I understand very, very well what this does, what this brace does. And that's the reason why we had a piece of legislation that would effectively ban bump stocks. And so what you're determining here is that you're trying to substitute using this piece here, that arm brace, as a means of saying that for individuals that have disabilities, this gives them more stability to be able to use the gun. But in fact, it can actually be used to help facilitate the weapon as a bump stock. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and relinquish the rest of my time to Representative Cicilline to explain even further. But there again, we need to reject this amendment simply because there's no way to differentiate the person that actually buys this stabilizing device, whether or not they really are disabled, or they might actually use it to accessorize that gun as an assault weapon.
I thank the gentlelady for yielding. I just want to reaffirm what Ms. McBath just said. This stabilizing brace, when coupled with a buffer tube, operates as a bump stock. Bump stocks are prohibited in this legislation for all the obvious reasons. This is attempting to exploit a design flaw for persons with disabilities and use it to convert this into a bump stock, which will obviously make the weapon increasingly dangerous and easier for someone to fire. That's the reason this amendment should be defeated. I yield back.
Yes, sir, I yield back the balance of my time.
And lady yields back.
Well, I'm torn here. They have no idea what they're trying to ban. They've showed us a pistol brace. It is not a bump stock. It has never once on this planet ever been used to accelerate the rate of fire or simulate rapid fire. That's not what it does. A bump stock is a stock in which the firearm is allowed to move horizontally within the stock. And then the user can adjust the compliance of their finger. It's still firing one round with every pull of the finger, but the fact they're using the dynamics of the firearm to help accommodate that pull quicker than they might do otherwise. But what he's showing us here is not a bump stock. Okay, do you concede that? Have you conceded
A bump
it
stock.
yet? Yes, but your picture is not a bump stock. Her amendment does not, reclaiming my time, her amendment has nothing to do with the bump stock. That can't even function in your wildest fantasies as a bump stock. It doesn't work that way. These are two different stock. One's a stock and one's a brace.
And the gentleman has expired. I recognize.
It's functioning as a bump stock because it's replacing the butt of the gun. It's operating as a bump stock. That's the functional result of it.
The gentleman yield? What does the gentleman think a bump stock does?
It's my time. I
All
yield
right.
it to Mr. Cicilline.
But I have one question.
Mr.
If I may.
Cicilline yielded back. I yield back. Who else seeks recognition? What purpose does Mr. Chavez seek recognition?
The gentleman from Ohio, I would ask this: would the Democrats be amenable to offering the gentlewoman's amendment if and when they find out that that's not a bump stock? Like if they could use Wikipedia or a picture or something here really quickly to understand that what she's offering has nothing to do with the bump stock, and it's only to do with stabilizing the grip and the grasp of a pistol for somebody who isn't otherwise able to do that. Would they be amenable? Would anybody over there be amenable if they found out, and you will eventually, the internet's going to help you here in about 5 minutes, because you're going to be famous, So the sooner you recognize that's not a bump stock, the better off we'll all be. But is anybody over there amenable to accepting her amendment if you do in fact find out that it's not a bump stock and her amendment has nothing to do with the bump stock?
Is it